It's like the Linkin Park organization knows the innermost desires of our souls. This is gold! I gravitated to Two-Faced as the first one just because of this, really, just because of the beginning scream. But if people watch these analysis videos, I'll do the whole album. So watch them and rewatch them and comment and spread them around. I love diving into isolated vocals, and to have stuff from such a new album, straight from the artist. So I've imported these into my DAW so that we can be extra inquisitive and experimental as we go through these. Starting with the opening scream. Okay, so hearing this in isolation, it confirms what I was already hearing, but it is so broken from a performance perspective. I'm noticing even more of a chest voice bass to her scream than I did before. Listen again. That's a chest voice note for her, and she's just letting it chirp all over the place. She's just so broken. Like, I'm purposely making it more volatile to sort of imitate what she's doing here. It is so drawn and vulnerable and so chirpy from grounded chest voice you hear in the middle there. Yeah! That's just a pulled chest yell with some compression on it, but then it's it goes in and out of that coordination. This is a vocal break, voice-based, chest voiced-based scream. And then the other thing that is so prevalent here that I really didn't hear, I mean, I heard a little bit, but not to this extent, was listen to the amount of post-processing distortion that's on this voice. Let's dial this in. On my mic, what I hear on the track is a multi-distortion. There's a couple different types of saturation going in there. There's and I really heard this from listening on and hearing what's on Mike's voice and sort of like comparing different sounds. You can't really hear all of that just from this scream, this context. But we're going to add, to start on my mic, hey, we're going to saturate it like a tape. Oh, yeah. And you hear it's not an extreme breakup at all. Then we're going to add some like distortion pedal, almost like solid state distortion into the mix too, so that when I get louder, yeah, you hear the distortion glue some of the volatility together that's present in the scream. So if I do that and then I combine it with just a very short sort of, I have a hall reverb set up here. It's, not very prominent, but you hear this very small space surrounding my voice, but it widens it just a little bit. This is the basis for Emily's sound on this whole recording, and it's fun to hear how it's used and blended with some of the other tracks. And the other thing I've done is followed the Drive plugin with just a little bit of compression and limiting and a touch of EQ, brightening it just a little, taking out a bit of the muddiness and then adding some warmth back in. You can get more information and download a free trial to all of my new vocal processing plugins. Just click the link below in the pinned comment or video description. And while you're there, join my free course to learn how to use your voice more freely. All right, listening on.
Last time I was hanging by a thread, trying to say I'm not, but I'm in it over my head. That's when I figured out where it led, beginning to realize that you put me over the edge. Your truth's not rigid, your rules aren't fair, the dark's too vivid, the light's not there. I start to give in, but I can't bear to put it all behind. I run into it blind like.
He's got a little bit of that tape saturation, but not the more digital sort of that's like shrinking or sustaining distortion. I love the call and answer with the doubles or echoes that are slightly off center, playing with the image that's in the center. And then he's got that small room reverb as well, or a similar one. It's not completely dry.
Last time I was hanging by a thread, trying to say I'm not, but I'm in it over my head.
That, in addition to some light compression and EQ, is why this voice can be like right here. It's just, you feel like you could reach out and touch it, even in the original mix, I think.
Two-face caught in the middle, caught in the middle. Too late, counting to zero, counting to zero. You should have recognized it's too late for choosing sides. Two-face caught in the middle, caught in the middle. Two-face.
Okay, what's fun about this is you can hear the distorted center image that we set up at the beginning with that scream. It's a very similar, if not the same signal chain. It's pretty distorted, and I didn't realize that the main line was this distorted.
Two-face caught in the middle.
Ugh, yeah, it's just... And then these ones out here, the harmonies, they're darker, they're not as distorted, and they're wetter in terms of reverb.
Two-face caught in the middle, caught in the middle. Too late, counting to zero, counting to zero. You should have recognized it's too late for choosing sides.
There's some distortion on those outer parts as well. It sounds differently flavored, though. Maybe it's just that she's singing so much differently. I don't think so.
Two-face caught in the middle, caught in the middle.
Definitely more reverb now. That scream at the beginning was pretty dry in terms of reverb.
Two-face caught in the middle, caught in the middle. Two-face caught in the middle, two-face caught in the middle, caught in the middle. Too late, counting to zero, counting to zero.
You told me it wasn't true, and pointing every finger at things that you didn't do. So that's what.
You hear how those those are a little bit cupped. So it's just a very simple sort of thing where you take the lows out of the signal and the highs out of the signal at the same time, and then raise the mid. Yeah. You hear it? Yeah. Okay. There we go. Kind of neat. Super simple thing to do. Here, there, do. And what's neat is you can take, with this particular plugin, you can take the bass curve we've made for this mic and then add the cupping over the top of it.
I did it was you. Your truth's not rigid. Your rules aren't fair. The dark's too vivid. The light's not there. I start to give in, but I can't bear to put it all behind. I run into it blind like
I've noticed that in the original mix. I love how they don't squash her breaths or take out her breaths.
I run into it blind like
Two-face caught in the middle, caught in the middle. Too late, counting to zero, counting to zero. You should have recognized it's too late for choosing sides.
You hear the weight of that distortion behind her, especially right here over that moving line.
You should have recognized it's too late for choosing sides.
It's definitely behind her voice. That's what I like about some of these layered distortions, is that the tape distortion sounds like it's right up here, but that more extreme sort of distortion pedal kind of sound it almost sounds like it's in back of the cleaner voice, which is why you don't hear it as much as distortion in the mix.
Is it too late for choosing sides? Two-face caught in the middle, caught in the middle. Two-face. I can't hear.
That's fun.
Middle. Two-face.
It's a lot of different characters, probably Mike and her.
Middle. Two-face.
And then I could be wrong, but that sounds like a spring reverb. Hear how it's sort of this metallic sound that brings out that group. So, if we put a spring reverb on what I'm doing, hey, bring this up. Hey, 2. You hear the like quiveriness of that reverb? Two-faced! Hey! And then maybe we make it a little brighter. Two-faced! There's this metallic sound to this reverb, this sort of spring reverb that I hear in a much smaller amount than this in that group.
I can't hear myself think.
Now that's dry. I love this part of the song, by the way.
I can't hear myself think.
So intimate.
I can't hear myself think. I can't hear myself think.
You hear the distortion, though, even though she's super low there, right?
I can't hear myself think.
You hear her kissing that more extreme distortion in the midst of that tape sound.
Stop yelling at me!
There's a lot of lows in that voice, too. Like low from an EQ perspective.
Stop yelling at me!
It's girthy, and I love that sigh out of it.
Stop yelling at me!
Yeah! That's the pitch basis for it.
Stop yelling at me!
Ugh. So drive, compression, EQ. We're going to increase the girth there. Stop! Yeah! Stop yelling at me! Yo! I can't hear myself think!
I can't hear myself think!
Ooh, she goes up there. I love that.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Stop yelling at me! Stop yelling at me!
So her going down there, her pitch basis going down. Here, let me turn all this stuff off. Her pitch basis going down here increases the vulnerability of the scream. She's at a place where her vocal break more naturally happens in her voice, and she embraces that. And that's why we hear even more volatility here. She can actually power through with less breakage up top a little bit more.
Stop yelling at me!
Stop yelling at me! And I can feel that in my own voice when I bring that down to here, may, solid chest, but bringing in that head voice engagement for the scream. May! You hear more little chirps up in and around.
Stop yelling at me! Stop yelling at me! Stop yelling at me!
I just love how it goes through a journey, right? We have that cleaner sound in there, and you can tell she's moderating her breath pressure quite a bit. Like, it's not just all out. It's like there's points where she's pushing, she's leaning in more, and there's points where she's laying back a little bit more.
Yelling at me!
That kind of thing's happening.
Yelling at me! Two-faced, caught in the middle! Caught in the middle! So late, counting to zero! Counting to zero! You should have recognized it's too late for choosing sides! Two-faced, caught in the middle! 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 Two-faced!
Oh, yeah. Thanks for getting nerdy with me. I love this kind of stuff. I'm serious. I'll do the whole album if people watch these videos. So share them, watch them. And don't forget to download the free trial for the plugins that I made, that I used here to show you how they're getting their sounds. You can find that link in the pinned comment or video description. And while you're there, join my free singing course as well, so that you can begin to pull these kinds of sounds out of your voice in multiple ways. We'll see you for more.